Hi everybody, this is TJ with Netpicks.com and the Spotlight Power Trader. It has been quite the week of trading. Spotlight Power Trader hitting its goals on all our favorite markets for the most part. What's so important is that you stay on point with the goals of the strategy, which are to quit with a positive result a majority of the time with minimal and efficient trading. That way you can control your drawdowns. So I'm going to go through a variety of examples here. Trading is trading. I mean, you're going to have winners, you're going to have losers, but the ability to quit positive most of the time and not overtrade and not try to do too much is the pathway to success. And again, this week, many of our favorite markets hitting all new equity highs. Let's start with crude oil. Crude oil won 6 out of 6 sessions this week, Monday through Friday, and the crude oil report. So let's just take a quick look at what happened today, Friday, starting right at 9 o'clock with the 5-tick momentum bar or a 5-tick range bar if you're a Ninja Trader, trying to get short or long. We don't know yet. There's no way to know until the setup happens. There's a setup there. It's still too early. Finally, we have this trade here right before our start time. This trade's too small, so I'm going to ignore it, but it's before our start time, so still waiting. Then finally, there's a short trade here. Gets short, 67.14. I might adjust around the 50 moving average if it's right there at the entry, but I'm not going to adjust if it's this far below. If you're going to make adjustments, you want very small adjustments. So this one gets short and then flips around to long. So basically short at 14, and then you're not going to get long at 31. You make that 2-tick adjustment for a stop and reversal and get long at 33. Okay? So it goes from short at 14, long at 33, runs up and hits a target 2, which is only 12 ticks. So we lost 19 ticks on the first trade. We're able to pick up 12 ticks on the second trade. Just focusing on target 2 to keep things simple. So we need one more trade to get positive. The yellow trade right there, and that one's going to go through targets as well, picking up 13 ticks, and that is power of quitting. And of course, if you're a multiple position trader, you did even better on a really nice 3-trade sequence. Yes, there was a losing trade, and then there were 2 winning trades and a winning session. That's the goal. And crude oil has been fantastic. This week winning, like I said, 6 out of 6 sessions. That's what it takes to be successful as a trader. And as your account grows, you just increase your position size. What's important is not to try to do too much and not to try to work beyond what the goals of the strategy are for day traders. The Dow E-mini has been kind of erratic and choppy and maybe a little frustrating for some, but it has traded very well. And this week, it had hit all new equity highs again with the 12-tick momentum bar, which we started in early February when the volatility returned to the market. Not as much volatility now, but the chart keeps performing, so I'm just staying with it. You could see starting right here at 8:30, this is 8:31, the first trade, a full winner. So that's it. You don't have to keep trading. There were not a lot of trades since. You don't have to sit here and watch paint dry. Just get your winner, move your account forward, and that's it. The YM won 4 out of 5 sessions. Yes, it had a losing session this week, but it won 4 out of 5. That's 80%. The goal of the strategy is to quit with a positive result a majority of the time. I think 80% qualifies for that. Let's look at the Russell. And not only does 80% qualify, but that's what gets you to new equity highs. This week, again, a new equity high on the Dow E-mini. The Russell E-mini also doing its job for us. It too won 4 out of 5 sessions. 80% of its sessions this week, you're able to quit positive. And you're going to find that if you follow these trade plans, over time, you'll be able to quit positive a vast majority of the time and keep your drawdowns to a minimum. Today, starting right at 8:30 Central Time. Don't forget, this is exchange time, traded out of Chicago. Markets in New York open at 9:30. That's the same as 8:30 Central. That's when we start. Here's the trade. There's nothing to really think about. It's pretty straightforward. It's the first trade of the day. Goes short at 1700.8 and does its thing. Gets to money management and then comes up and stops out. So the first trade is a break-even trade. Then we get a second setup, and this is the kind of setup I really like when the 50 is pushing down, 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 down. You got the squeeze zone in here, but you're going lower. And remember, you want to get involved with action moves. Got an action, a reaction, which stopped out the action, a subsequent action move, kind of mirrors that first action. Now you have another reaction, kind of into our lines here, the 200 moving average, and in the squeeze zone, unable to get higher. And then you got a new setup, which could set up a nice subsequent action move lower. Those are high percentage trades. Meanwhile, I've got my 20 simple moving average pushing through, tracking lower. The 200's beginning to curl down, and the nice angle on the 50. All signs are this is going to break through and go lower. Now, it could break through, be a head fake, go back up, could be a loser. I mean, the markets are fickle. They do what they want. But that would just be a single trade. Then we just have to take another trade. The goal of the strategy is not to win every trade. That's impossible. It's to quit a majority of our sessions with a positive result with minimal trading. You have to repeat that to yourself over and over again because it helps you stay on point and it solves a lot of psychological issues that traders have. And it really helps if you prove this to yourself first by going through the steps that I teach in the training, because if you get the proof of concept and can prove to yourself that yes, indeed, you can quit with a positive result most of the time. Yes, indeed, you can control your drawdowns if you stick to the trade plan. And yes, indeed, you can grow your account and ultimately reach your financial goals if you don't try to do too much. It's like a good plate of food. You eat what you can till you're full. But if you keep eating and keep eating, all of a sudden the food's not so good anymore, and you don't feel so good anymore either. So we needed a little more food here, and we got it on the second trade. And it does exactly what it appears to want to do. Action, reaction, action, reaction, action. You want to get in on the action moves and try to avoid reaction moves as best you can. And this is a nice trade, hitting all its targets, and of course, power of quitting on the Russell. And again, winning 4 out of 5 this week, achieving the goals of the strategy, quitting with a positive result a majority of the time. Okay, well, same thing with the NQ, because the NQ has been moving really nicely all week long, and it was able to win 4 out of 5 sessions. Mission accomplished, right? We don't need to win every session. We want to, but that's not possible. But we can win most of our sessions. That's what we are going to just stay focused on, because that we have power over. And we could prove it to ourselves with all the pre-production work that I always suggest. So we have a short right here, right when the market opens. Pretty straightforward, just like the Russell was, just like the YM. You get short right there, and it's a really great trade. I mean, what a way to end the week, especially if you got 2 positions and you're trailing. That's a huge trade, and it's one and done. The NQ on fire. So, you know, those are 4 of our main futures, the ones that I prefer to focus on, but other markets did really well also. One of our favorite Forex pairs, the pound Aussie with the 8-pip momentum bar or 80 range on Ninja. That's 80 ticks, right? 8 pips. Today was one and done. We only had 1 trade this morning. If you go back, it was kind of choppy. This all happened too soon. You have to wait for your start time. You know, Forex is Forex. You got to be patient, but the trade comes and it picks up its, you know, a target of 10 pips or more. That's the very minimum. And it was able to get that 15 pip target and then stopped out, and that's it. One and done. And this week, the pound Aussie, it won 4 out of 5 sessions. It's a pretty nice theme. Yesterday, on Thursday, you had to wait until 9:35. But look at the trade. 10 pips, 14 pips, 19 pips. Perfect target, and then stopped out. One and done. A winning session. You had to be really patient on the Euro-Yen today. You could see that there just weren't any setups. Remember, Spotlight doesn't try to catch every setup. It's waiting for its particular setup that gives us the high percentage trade so that we can quit positive most of the time. And so you have to wait. And then it requires knowing the trade plan. It's really important. So this might not look very attractive, and that's a pretty ugly pattern. Finally got some trades, but we've got to apply our rules. So like this blue trade here. This blue trade, it's getting long at 85. But remember, we always make a key level adjustment. We go up 1 pip to 86. And then you get 2 closes below the signal line. And so that trade should be canceled. I could have the calculator do that for me, but I prefer to do key level adjustments manually with Forex. And I think you should too, because it makes you think about what you're doing. So you avoid that trade. The short trade, you take. You're short at 74, it gets short. You can make a tiny adjustment below the low of the day there. You should. It doesn't matter. It gets in. And then it looks like it's going to get long here. And 84, once again, you adjust that up to 86 around the key level. Then add 2 pips for the stop and reverse adjustment. So really you shouldn't get long until 88. It doesn't get to 88. It only gets to 85.7. Then it goes down again. So you should still stay in that yellow trade. But right here, it gets long again at 84. So you're going to get long at 88. And it does get long at 88. Right in here. And it doesn't go far enough. It only gets us to 96. And then it looks like it's going to come down and hit money management, but you need to adjust that to make up for your adjusted entry. So if you're getting long at 88, you want it to go 10 pips plus 2 pips of spread before you move your stop. So you should still be in that trade, for example. So this session may win, it may lose. It's too early to tell. It had 1 losing trade here, partial loss because the stop was way up here, got long right up here around the green line. You need it to go the full distance before you hit money management, and so you stay in that trade. If it stops out or not, we don't know. But so far, the EJ has won 3 sessions, and it's lost 1 session. So if it can win today, that'd be great. But even if it loses, it's still going to be winning 3 out of 5. So we'll see. The jury's still out. But that's how you handle this trade. It's really important you understand the trade plan. And if you don't, come into the trade room and ask me. I could explain it to you slower in greater detail. It's written out in the Owners Club, but I want you to understand this. If you're trading Forex, it's really important you understand how to work around the extra digits, how to work around key levels, and stop and reverse adjustments, and dealing with spread. There's a lot to deal with, but it's slow enough where you can think through it, and if you're just patient, the strategy does what it's supposed to do. It quits positive a majority of the time while controlling drawdown with minimal and efficient trading. Stay on point with what the strategy is all about, and you'll just be in a great position for ongoing success. This was a great week. Wasn't an easy week, but trading's never easy. It's always challenging. Every week's different. That's why it's important you have structure on the chart. You have belief in what you do. If you don't believe in your trade plan, if you're like trading out of fear, or if you're quitting on the 1 step back and then missing the 2 steps forward, you're doing things wrong. Stop what you're doing, regroup, retrench, and start putting the steps in order. If you follow the steps properly, you'll end up with the foundation you need, the belief you need, and you'll have the trade plans you need to grow your account and achieve your financial goals through trading, which is why you should be trading in the first place. That's what the Spotlight's designed to do. But the Spotlight's not going to work in the hands of the ill-prepared trader. So it's important that you become that prepared trader and go through the steps properly. I hope everyone has a great weekend. Hope you enjoyed this video. This is TJ with Netpicks and the Spotlight Power Trader. I'll see you next time.